Chapter 12. Manhattan is yesterday's news. Joshua loved being a Jewish New Yorker, yet it was impossible to not feel like Manhattan was yesterday's news. Kevin Durant signed with the Brooklyn Nets over the Knicks to become the voice of the millennial Musketeer generation. President Trump changed his permanent residence to Mar-a-Lago in Florida now. Even resistor, not my president, baby boomers despised the bird-brained mayor in charge now, who's such a putz he dropped the groundhog on Groundhog's Day, killing him on the spot. You'd think all of his 2-hour workout sessions at the Park Slope Y doing 10-pound curls would have given his honor enough upper body arm strength to keep hanging on. Sports radio on WFAN sounded like a broken record. Know-it-all, long-time WFAN host Mike Francesa had an app now, which is like Bill Parcells texting Lawrence Taylor pep talks on the dangers of dating underage girls on WhatsApp Messenger, knowing what social media blitz firestorm would ensue. New York City was declared a sanctuary city. Sex and the City actress Cynthia Nixon, while running for governor, campaigned on the promise to ban ICE from New York City because Homeland Security was so weapons of mass destruction years. Along the way, Williamsburg and Brooklyn became the hipper, sexier, more desirable area of New York City to inhabit, which pissed off Joshua because Bedford Street off the infamous L line was now so packed it required for you to wait at least 4 subway stops before there was enough room for you to squeeze in among the myriad of displaced ho-hum hipster transplants from Cleveland, PA. The sexiest, most cosmopolitan, diverse group of fetching working women, both old and new, made the island of Manhattan Joshua's dream playground workspace, not Euro transplant product designers in fucking Williamsburg. Strutting along Spring Street in Soho or down Perry Street in the West Village, taking all the stately yet big pimp and brownstone palaces while passing by a breathy Gina Gershon is what still got Joshua off a long time. Not some bombed out wasteland lot in fucking Bushwick or roaming along the tattoo shop line Bedford Street in Williamsburg or taking the G to bumblefuck Greenpoint, Brooklyn, schlepping to no man's land in Red Hook, or pretending to be turned on in Strolomum Country and Park Slope, where all the over-the-hill, never-wore-hip hipsters go to get neutered, pull out from premature meat sweats, and die. And don't even get Joshua started on the emergence of Queens being the so-called it place to live. In his act, Joshua, who lived in Astoria with his fiancée, now wife, for a little bit, would bemoan with real palpable pissed off feeling, "Stop saying Queens is hot. It's not. Compared to Manhattan and Brooklyn, Queens is the sloppy third Kardashian sister. You know, the extra greasy one was easy to pound at 3 in the morning, like a lamb gyro in Astoria." Plenty of Joshua's role models hail from Queens. Doug Ellen, the creator and head writer of Entourage. Dean Snyder, lead singer and main songwriter of Twisted Sister. Even conservative talk radio host Michael Savage, until Joshua started smoking weed again, realizing what an insufferable, know-it-all whiner bore he could be, showing not a speck of cultural awareness or bitter respect for Kanye West, depreciating the man's lyrics he read on Wikipedia 2 minutes before the broadcast. Plus, Joshua bought some of Michael Savage's books and felt conned because the writing was boring and never got him jealous once. Joshua understood Manhattan was still too pricey for most, but this wasn't breaking news either. He also liked the Jackie Mason bit where he says every Jew always says, "I could have bought real estate in Manhattan, but didn't because they either didn't want it bad enough, didn't have the money to buy any depressed ghost town properties post 9/11 in Tribeca, like Robert De Niro did when he opened up Nobu and the Tribeca Grand Hotel, so Ed Burns could be noticed and be recognized as a member, and be recognized by a member of Generation Z for a pleasant change of pace." Those same talker Jews Jackie Mason made fun of also could have bought lots in Soho before John Jr. made rollerblading down those cobblestone streets hip when he wasn't carrying his 10-speeder to work to get Sidney Crawford to lose all sex appeal dressing up as George Washington on the cover of George. After Heath Ledger died, Joshua remembers reading Heath Ledger was paying $20,000 a month for his apartment in Soho, but this was 15 years ago after Moby snagged his Playloft in-house studio, reflecting a grimier, less overtly nerdy digital era time before every Saudi prince and Chinese suicide jump net manufacturer for Apple bought up every piece of NYC real estate they can grab their Johnny Walker blue hoarding hands on before Y2K, which is right after Gen X's first real financial crash implosion hit. Pre-fake news, of course. Back in the day, Joshua would love to bar hop along the Upper East Side with his crew and drink everything from Sierra Nevada Pale Ale to shots of Jaeger, Goldschlager, and screaming Nazis, the holy trinity of high-octane medicinal shots on training wheels for crazy, good New Yorkers just getting their first taste of rambunctious, roarish, rum shaker blasting, non-strict ID enforcing Irish bars on the Upper East Side that old school haunts like the Bear Bar or Kelly's Corner had to offer. One time, Joshua hooked up with a striking, beautiful, tall Southern gal who claimed to have never kissed a Jew before. Later, he remained holed up in her apartment during a major snowstorm that actually warranted a school shutdown, which back then occurred every other 5 years max. Although Joshua also learned with this gal how unromantic it could be taking a carriage ride in Central Park, unless you're into smelling horse ass, regardless if you're drinking some random cheap red blend in plastic cups, accompanied by a tall, rosy-cheeked, peach lips-tasting Southern belle to distract you from the suffocating barnyard funk in the process. When Joshua almost billed $100,000 one month when working for an IT staffing agency in LA in Westwood by UCLA on Wilshire Boulevard, they had a banner sales year, doing more than $90 million in billing, and even had a job posting website on display on Times Square, Techie Gold, and a radio commercial to match with the voice from Fantasy Island, who also had a hilarious role in The Naked Gun many years later. As a result, Joshua got his first Christmas bonus, $500 in cash, making him feel like a big shot for a change, because he didn't have to penny pinch for at least 2 days in Manhattan before their lavish Christmas bash at the Pierre. His company, Remington International, paid for the airfare and their hotel at the Marriott Marquis. Joshua had never woken up in Manhattan within his own hotel room before, which felt earned somewhat. It was impossible for Joshua to feel nothing but a surge of New York pride that morning. Nothing felt out of reach. His stuttering, unsure, knock-kneed, putty self of yesteryear was nothing but a far-flung, distant memory. Manhattan felt like the main hot center of the universe. Wanting to live anywhere else was nuts in Joshua's eyes. It was only years later when Joshua took the deep dive into writing jokes and walking those streets, rehearsing them, adding to them, perfecting them, through Hell's Kitchen by the Broadway Comedy Club, or in Gramercy by the New York Comedy Club, or in the West Village near Comics and the Cellar, breathing in all the heady, sexually charged buzz pulsating through the streets of his cherished concrete jungle, where he used to buy live dead shows off of St. Mark's Place. Did he become hungry for big city success only a native New Yorker from Queens could crave, with such obsessive, prideful, got to make it big here because nothing else matters, driven fervor?